Hello, my name is Mark Bartold. I'm with Bebo Analytics. Today I was going to talk to you about the ERA. A lot of people don't know what the ERA means. The Equal Rights Amendment was passed 52 years ago. In 2025, it was 52 years since the Equal Rights Amendment was passed. 3 generations, going on 4 generations ago. August 18th, 1920, the 19th Amendment was passed and ratified by 36 states, Tennessee being the last one to ratify it. 36 out of the however number of states, might have been 48 then. Women get the right to vote in 1920. In 1923, Alice Paul and Crystal Eastman introduced the Equal Rights for Women Act. Alice Paul was women's suffrage and helped with the 19th Amendment. And Crystal Eastman was co-founder of the ACLU along with women's suffrage movements and other things. 48 years later, right? They introduced it in 1923, but then 48 years later, because nothing happened with it, in 1971, Martha Griffiths, U.S. House of Representative from Michigan, she introduced a bill in 1971. The House passed it in 72. The Senate passed it in 73. They needed 3 more states to ratify. You guessed it, 52 years later. Now they need 5 states. Tennessee had backed out, along with, I guess, another state. I'm not really familiar. Anyway, I didn't follow up on that research. Excuse me. But anyway, so 5 states are needed to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment as of today. Now, there's 5 states that I think we could be targeting to make it happen through referendum. Because referendums let people decide. Nevada. Why Nevada? Nevada has two U.S. senators that are Democrat. Arizona. Why Arizona? Arizona has a Democrat governor and 2 U.S. senators. So that's 2. That should be relatively easy to try and power the idea to the state to have it on a referendum on a ballot to let the people decide if they want the women to have the right of equality. Kentucky. Why Kentucky? Kentucky has a governor that is a Democrat. So it should be helpful to try and get a referendum. North Carolina. North Carolina is a state that I am currently in for full disclosure. North Carolina had got another Democrat governor. The previous governor had term limits of 2 terms. In North Carolina, that Trump had won all 3 elections that he ran in. So it's a very good chance that we can get. Now, Tom Tillis, a lot of people don't like him, but sometimes he does try and reach out to try and get, he thinks politically. He's a political type of guy. He may try and swim both sides. But if there's any movement in the women's movement to try and get the right to choose, not the right to choose. That's a whole other issue, right? No, Equal Rights Amendment. He may, but of course, it's not up to him to decide anyway. It'll be the state legislature in North Carolina, which is very red right now. Out of 14 House seats, U.S. House seats, 4 are Democrat and 10 are Republican. But I still think that North Carolina is a good possibility if we can get a referendum on the ballot that people can decide. Now, Georgia. Why Georgia? Well, Georgia, the governor is Kemp, but there's 2 Democrat U.S. senators sitting there. And so there's really good possibilities to get this done. Now, women have been leaders throughout the world. Margaret Thatcher, way back when. You have a Mexican president that's a woman, and she wound up becoming the president because she beat another woman for the spot. The 2 main candidates were both women. We had a woman vice president. There was chances of a female president. Came close. There was also in Europe female presidents, prime ministers. Italy has a woman leader right now. Italy. And so the U.S. eventually will have a woman as president, I think, one day. But for right now, we just need women to have equal rights, right? And so it's amazing that we're still here battling this old issue that initially was brought up in 1923, over 100 years ago. And so I think there's a good possibility to get it passed through referendums. People need to try and contact the state legislatures, but also the different Democrat leaders that are currently in those states. I believe we can get movement, especially the governors. Now, Florida was an outlier idea. I'll tell you why. Is because DeSantis is on his last term, and he could put a woman's equal rights amendment up referendum to help his wife, because I believe his wife is looking at running. So, he can't run again, but she can. So that would help her out. Another question mark is Tennessee. Only because of the fact that they're the ones they had initially said yes to it and then they backed out, but also Marsha Blackburn is a senator, a woman, right? You figure the Republican women, you have to figure out a way to get the Republican women, like the governor of Arkansas is a Republican woman, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. But you can get her to put the referendum strategically, you could possibly get it done. So those are just some extra states that you could probably throw in there. So that's the strategy that I think could get the Equal Rights Amendment finally passed. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, and that's what always seems to happen with this amendment, because what happens is it gets the back seat on everything. And I'd have to research more on wondering what happened in 1923, that the legislation was introduced, but it was never passed. And that was 3 years after the 19th Amendment for the woman's right to vote came out. And that's all I've got. This is Mark Bartold, Bebo Analytics. I'll be posting this on YouTube. I'll post it on Facebook. If you have any questions, just look me up. I have other issues. I've got the Middle Class Jobs book by Mark Bartold. It's policies to put middle class people back to work. A lot of the stuff that actually Trump's doing, I actually have in that book. Border security and some other things, believe it or not. But it's mostly just about getting people back to work to solve the problems that we have. The Equal Rights Amendment is not really listed in that book, and another reason why I think it just kept being pushed in the back burner, because it was more of a social issue than an economic issue. But I'm here today to try and say, look, we need to get the Equal Rights Amendment passed. Minimum wage is another thing. That's all fluid. But at any rate, get your Congress people that are running to maybe push the idea, put it on their things to do list of saying, hey, let's get these 5 states, 5+ states could happen, and let's just get it ratified and we can move on from that. Thank you.